guys? Welcome back. Today I have a fun video for you. So today I'm going to show you guys an OSINT tool that I don't know that everybody should use, but it's going to help out a lot of people. So what I mean by that is some people will find it very useful, and then some people will actually say, well, I know how to do most of that, so I'm not going to do that with the tool. And I'll show you what I mean. So it's called Discover. If you guys have never heard about it, it's been around for quite some time, but it's a really cool, fun tool. I'll put the link in the description. It's one of my favorite tools just for getting a quick scan out there. Sometimes there's plenty of times where I'll do OSINT and like I don't have as much time as I'd like. And that's whether it's the rules of engagement, whether it's the scope, whether it's I'm busy, I've got multiple things going on, whatever. That's when I turn to a tool like this, because it's a set it and forget it type of tool for OSINT, which is really, really nice. But the initial setup is quite a bit, and I'm going to talk about that. So before we get too deep into it, guys, hit that like button, hit that sub button. It helps out. It's the only way the channel grows. I say it every channel or every video, but I truly mean it. It's the only way I can grow, so I really appreciate it. So let's get started. So first things first, the GitHub page, I will put the description in below, but I will pull it over here. Let me go to it. So it'll be GitHub. So www.github.com Lee Baird, BAIRD/discover. Okay, and this is the GitHub page. Now, that's great. He shows you some basic stuff. Git clone, boom, boom. Now, I'm going to show you some snafus and things that we run into. So, obviously, I'm not going to install it again. It takes time, and that's the whole point of you guys watching the video, so you don't have to sit there and watch me literally install it. So, you just say sudo git clone, type the website in, and then I always, if I'm going to keep something on the machine, I put it in opt, and then I put whatever directory. Now, you don't have to do that. I do that so it goes into the opt folder. But then, so I'm actually in the opt folder here, in the discovery folder, and you can see it's got a bunch of scripts that that can be ran. You want to actually run the discover script. Now, here's where some of the snafus come in. One of them was you want to run discover as root, not, and this may be only for Parrot OS currently, the version I'm running, but not as your user in sudo. That's something that I found out, because what happens is root actually tries to open Firefox, and it will actually run some issues and say root cannot mimic somebody else with Firefox. It's a security setting set up in Parrot. So I don't know how many OSs run into that. I haven't tried to open Firefox as someone else multiple times using another tool. So just FYI, if you run into that issue, that's what you got to do. You got to actually switch over sudo su to root. So you got to do sudo su, and then that'll switch you over to the actual root user and then run it. So I'm going to show you guys. We're going to go ahead and run it. And keep in mind, I'm not going to get crazy with it because of the fact that it does have some passive and some active recon abilities. We're not going to get crazy with that. We're just going to talk about it, right? So you can see 14 different options. The 15 update, I do recommend updating, because that's where this is where the configurations get a little bit wonky. After the initial setup, it'll ask you a couple questions during setup. It's not hard, but after the initial setup, a lot of these different things. So let's step back. This tool is a script, a multitude of scripts that actually runs tools on your machine. So it uses things like Metasploit, Nmap, Recon-NG, all this different stuff, right? It uses them all for you, but it's a one-stop shop. It'll run everything for you and generate a report. It's a really nice report for you to be able to grab and then manipulate and make a little bit nicer. But the reason this tool is very good is once it's set up, you can do a one-stop shop, but you have to set it all up. What I mean is, if you don't have the modules in Recon-NG, it's not going to run them. If you don't have the API keys needed, it's not going to run them. So make sure you guys understand that going into it, that what you're going to get is very general until you refine it and put those API keys, set up Recon-NG, set up the different tools, all that different stuff. The Metasploit, you have to make sure you have Metasploit set up, that type of stuff. If you don't have any of that stuff on your system, then it's basically going to try and run them and say, hey, it doesn't run, right? So the first one we're going to do is Recon, and we're going to do a domain. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 1. Okay, and you can see we have passive, active, find registered domains, and previous menu. We're going to do passive because keep in mind we have to have permission to scan these environments, and with active scanning you need permission. We don't have permission, right? Now we're going to say the target company here is InMap, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to scanme.inmap.org. If you don't know this, this is a site that InMap stood up a long time ago for you to be able to scan. But you can see here things like this. It's using the harvester, right? Well, you need to add the API keys that you're going to use for the harvester in there, or else it's not going to run. It's going to run the harvester, have no API keys, and only do half the stuff. That's fine if you want the general overview, and you'll see what we'll get out of that, right? So keep that in mind. You're going to see a lot of things in the report that when you're going through them, you're going to be like, oh, that'd be really cool. It didn't produce any output. It didn't work. Well, it may have worked if you had the API key, if you had the right tool on your system, different things like that. So pay attention to the output as it's going. And if it's saying something isn't working, then you want to go ahead and check that out. And you can see here, it's telling you this tool itself is using Aaron, which is they own IP addresses, DNS Recon, which is an easy tool to use, DNS Twist, Google Mail, GooHost, the Harvester, Metasploit, Whois, multiple websites, and Recon-NG. So what that's telling you right away is you need these installed, not all of them, but the Harvester, it's telling you need API keys for. Recon-NG, you're going to need, if you know how Recon-NG works, you're going to need modules for it. And Metasploit, as long as you got it installed, updated, those types of things, it should work. Now, this may seem like a lot to everybody, but if you're a seasoned, you don't have to be a seasoned pen tester. If you're a seasoned cybersecurity professional, this tool is very nice because all of these are fairly non-technical to set up, right? Like most of us know how to put an API key in. We know how to go to some of these tools and get the modules downloaded and installed and stuff. So we understand that you can just kind of one-stop shop, set it all up, and then be done with it. The rest of you, there's nothing wrong with learning as you go, right? This will help you with a lot of other tools, which is what I like about it, because you're going to troubleshoot, and what's going to happen is you're going to watch. It gives a very good output, and as it's going, because I'm going to click it here in a second, we're going to watch it. As it's going, you're going to see what it's saying. So like right here, I'll do it. You can see it saying, okay, emails, names, networks, DNS Recon, and you can see here, no such file or directory, right? So opt discover passive.sh, opt DNS Recon bin activate no such file, right? That's probably because DNS Recon is not in that location, or I don't have it installed, so I need to go install it, right? All of these different things. Import UJSON, no module found, UJSON, so I probably need to install UJSON, right? And then the harvester, right? Nothing there, probably because I need to install it. So a lot of these I can read and say, hey, I don't have these installed. Then I can go back and read it, right? No module named UJSON. Okay, so, and then it's saying Yahoo. So you can tell I'm going to be missing some information because I don't have the UJSON module that can be imported, and a lot of the harvester's tools there were trying to use it, right? So that's where right there I know I need to go do that. So right away, okay, now Metasploit. Okay, we got 41 of 46. We got Whois, we got 42 of 46 domains, we got the IPs, we got 43 of 46. Okay, perfect. And you can see DNS dumpster into DNS, and that was where the websites came up. It said before it's going to access X amount of websites. DNS dumpster is one of them, into DNS, all that stuff. It's accessing those websites as it goes. So it's really important that if you're seeing these errors, there's nothing wrong with that. You saw all those errors there. Now it's doing Recon-NG. You can see it's installing the modules for me, right? Or it's checking the modules, but there's going to be some that require API keys. So keep that in mind. If you have Recon-NG, I have a video from a long time ago but I recommend you find it if you're struggling. See all those red errors that was saying API key, right? So a lot of those, if you're running into that issue, right, go back, scroll up, read the output, and see which API keys you're missing and go put them in, right? And then you can see it saves it, root data scanme.nmap.org, and we're going to go to it here in a sec. But you can see, we'll go up to those errors that I was talking about, right? And you can see, let's find these errors. Maybe. Come on. There we go. So API key not set, right? So the module will likely fail. So what that means is I need to go to Recon-NG. I need to Shodan API, GitHub API. All those are not set. So I need to go to Recon-NG and install all my API keys. And I actually have a video on just adding the Shodan API key to Recon-NG. You can go back, watch the video, set up all your API keys the exact same way. It's a great tool. It's awesome. And then it's called the video is called no, because that's using it, but the Shodan API key video I did is separate. But either way, you can figure out how to add the API keys very easily. You'll have to create accounts on there, get an API key, all that stuff, right? This will teach you a lot of those tools as you're going, and then you have a one-stop shop for them. So I understand this may be a little bit daunting to some people because it's using so many dependencies, so many tools, that I would not have time to go through every single one of how you need to install them, because if you don't have them pre-installed or anything like that, then there's a lot of work you got to do. If you have something like Kali or Parrot or anything like that, it's going to, most of them will be installed for you. You'll just need to add the API keys and or some of the modules in Recon-NG, which you saw it actually looked and checked and installed a lot of them for us. So now we're going to go to here, and we're going to go back to where it says root data, and you can see there's a scanme.nmap.org. We go into it, and you can see we have assets, data, pages, tools. This is what I like the most about this tool. I like the fact that it actually has these saved for me, where I can go into assets and boom, I can get these, and this is for the website itself, but I can get the data itself. What I like about that, you'll see it'll actually be a full report that I can actually look at and mess with right here. Great report, but I can pull the entities out through the files. It creates a HTML document that I can actually mess with myself. So if I want to edit it, you can see here it says replace this image with a logo from your target. So they're giving you the option to edit the actual report, but the report is in a way that is editable because they give you all the assets, resources, HTML, everything. I like that. So now we go to general, and we'll just say let's get a summary. Now here we go. No information really. Keep in mind, I wouldn't expect to find a URL for scanme.nmap.org. That wouldn't make any sense. To find like a facebook.com called scanme.nmap.org wouldn't make any sense, right? Maybe nmap, the company, but not scanme.nmap.org, whatever. And I know we used nmap as the company name, but it wouldn't make any sense in this term. All right, so we go to emails, no data, there's no emails found. We go to names, no names found, okay. DNS, we go to records. Okay, there's only one record, which is to be expected. Keep in mind, if you had a real website and you were doing Recon, this would be full of information. To give some context, here is the Try Hack Me one I just did, just to show it. And this is passive. I only did the passive. Now you can see the summary. Again, wouldn't make any sense to have facebook.com Try Hack Me with a lot of followers. It's possible, but I'm sure the site's called something different. The emails, you can see it found the support Try Hack Me on the website. DNS, we go to records, and you can see we get a lot more records. So that is kind of the difference. You're going to see a lot more with real things. Keep in mind, I don't have any API keys added. This is all just out of the box default Parrot OS modules are installed automatically. I didn't do anything. So all of this has no API keys or anything like that. So you go to records, go to registered domains. You can see here it's saying, hey, you didn't run that piece. Okay, cool. We go to hosts. Okay, didn't find any extra hosts. And keep in mind, this is not surprising at all on scanme.nmap.org because that's a very specific domain, right? Here's the whois lookup. Here's the IP address, CIDR notation. Okay, here's the org name. Here's all that jazz, right? From Aaron. When I say Aaron, it's ARIN. It's the owners of IPs, but it's Aaron, okay? So now it's going to check the website for Excels, PDF files, PowerPoints, text files, and Word, right? Okay, cool. Shouldn't expect anything here because, again, scanme.nmap.org is specifically a site that they use. You're supposed to scan, right? Now you can go to passive recon here, which is all we did, and here's the entire summary. Okay, and that's really nice. So you can see the difference. If we go over here and we go to domain, we go to hosts, we go to squatting, go to sub or whois. This is the try hack me one. So you can see we get a little bit more information. So with the real website, and I say real, scanme.nmap.org is real, but it's just used for nmap scanning. So it's not actually, I don't even know if it's a website. I've never actually gone to the site, but, and you can see we can go to whois on the IP as opposed to, so you can actually see that Cloudflare actually is hosting it. So kind of interesting. Then you can go to files, you can go to Excel, PDF, PowerPoint, text, excuse me, Word, blah, blah. Well, I'll tell you why they don't find any of those. This is a passive scan. It's not supposed to touch the network. It's not going to touch anything, right? That's important to note because a active scan would go to the website and take these files, PDFs and everything else. This is doing passive because I do not have permission to do it. So we're only doing passive. If I go to active, look, nothing in there. If I go to passive, we get a whole summary. We got 37 DNS records, 1 email address, blah, 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 right? Whois domain, we've got Namecheap Inc., so we have the registrar. We've got all kinds of stuff, right? This is a lot of really good information. This may not seem like a lot of good information to you guys, but this is a lot of good information, and this was, it took me 5 minutes to do, right? And I didn't have to go do the whois by myself. I didn't have to go look at the support at tryhackme, whatever, blah, blah, emails. And keep in mind, this is all the passive scanning. So the active scanning is much better. And this is all with no API keys, no stand up, no additional modules installed, nothing like that. So this tool is really cool. It's actually taking all the tools on your machine and running them in succession and building a report out for you. Very cool, very nice. It can do a lot. It's a really cool tool. You saw that it has the capability to go beyond scanning, and so it actually has the capability to do a lot, but I wanted to show you guys the passive scanning because that is something that a lot of people use, and it's also something that is very useful for people when they're getting into OSINT. I think the report leaves a little bit to be desired, but it gives you the capability to edit it to make it the way you want it, which makes it not need to be desired because I can change this, right? If I know basic HTML and I can just change all of this myself, very nice, very easy. So I really like that piece of it. Let me know what you guys think about Discover because it's been around for a while and a lot of people don't talk about it, and I don't know if it's because it's a tool that's using all the other tools and so they kind of see it as cheesy. But if someone's gonna make my report for me and then I just kind of tweak it to make it look a little nicer, I'm gonna take advantage of that all day long. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you guys like me reviewing these offset tools or if you guys would rather me do something else. Keep me posted because I'm going to be honest with you guys. Sometimes I think videos are gonna hit and I'm like, this is a bomb, like sweet video of like really good content, and then nobody watches it, and I don't know if it's like I'm off, as in like what I find interesting is not what you guys find interesting at times, or it could just be that like I don't put the tags in the, like there's a whole algorithm on YouTube that I don't play with. I don't care about the algorithm, so it could be that too. But I just want to know what you guys like so that I keep making videos like that. If you like finding tools like this, awesome, let's keep doing it. Otherwise, hopefully you guys have a great day and hopefully this helps you guys. See ya.